In this lesson, we're going to explore how you can apply GPT to your work life. Specifically, we'll look at how this powerful tool can help with tasks like drafting emails, summarizing documents, analyzing data, and even visualizing information. Whether you work in an office, manage a team, or run your own business, GPT can become a valuable assistant in your day-to-day responsibilities. First, we'll look at what it means to use GPT in a professional setting and what kinds of benefits you can expect. Then we'll dive into real examples, what it looks like to use GPT to write emails, schedule meetings, summarize lengthy reports, and make sense of your data. We'll wrap up with a few case studies that show how different industries are already using GPT for real results. Let's start with a quick overview. In simple terms, using GPT professionally means applying its language processing abilities to tasks you normally do at work. This includes anything involving communication, reading and interpreting text, organizing schedules, or even making decisions based on data. GPT can help you save time, work more efficiently, and even think through complex problems more clearly. One of the biggest advantages of GPT in the workplace is its ability to automate routine tasks. Think about all the small but time-consuming things you do every day. Sending out updates, putting together reports, reviewing meeting notes. By offloading those to GPT, you can focus on the parts of your job that require your unique skills and judgment. Let me give you a simple story to illustrate this. Imagine you're a project manager overseeing a mid-sized team. Every Friday afternoon, you send out a summary email that captures what was accomplished during the week, what's upcoming, and any blockers. This task usually takes you about 45 minutes. Now imagine you feed GPT a series of short bullet points, maybe some notes from your project board, a few team updates, and pending deadlines. Within seconds, GPT drafts a polished, professional email that you just need to review and hit send. That's a time-saving win. Now let's dig deeper into some specific areas, starting with email drafting and scheduling. Email is one of the most common communication tools in the modern workplace, but it's also one of the most time-consuming. Writing emails that are clear, professional, and suited for different audiences takes effort, especially when you're juggling a full calendar. GPT can help speed this up significantly. Think of GPT as your email co-writer. You provide basic information like the purpose of the email, who it's addressing, and the tone you want, maybe formal for a client, friendly for a coworker, or persuasive for a sales pitch. From that prompt, GPT generates a first draft. You tweak or approve it, and you're done. Here's an example. Let's say you're a team lead and you need to request a meeting with a client who you haven't spoken to in a while. You can prompt GPT with something like, draft a polite and concise email requesting a 30-minute virtual meeting with a client next week to discuss project updates. Just with that, GPT can generate a draft email that includes all the core details, saves time, and hits the right tone. Beyond writing the emails themselves, GPT can also help with scheduling. While it can't log into your calendar on its own, you can use it to organize your thoughts before scheduling. For example, give GPT your availability and the meeting goals, and it'll suggest ideal time slots and even write a meeting agenda. Then all you have to do is plug those into your calendar tool. Now let's move on to another area where GPT really shines, document summarization. Most professionals deal with huge amounts of text every week. Think reports, white papers, meeting transcripts, and long email threads. Reading through all this can take hours. GPT can cut that time dramatically by digesting the content and giving you the key takeaways. At its core, Document summarization is about pulling out the most relevant points so you don't have to read everything word for word. GPT is particularly good at this when given clear instructions, also known as prompts. For instance, instead of just pasting in a 20-page file and asking for a summary, you might say, "Summarize this quarterly report with a focus on revenue trends and cost management," or "Extract the 3 main talking points and any decisions made in this meeting transcript." Let me give you a real-world scenario. A financial analyst is preparing for a Monday morning leadership meeting. They've been handed a 50-page quarterly report and need to share the main insights in under 5 minutes. Rather than reading through it line by line, they paste the content into GPT and ask for a summary that highlights revenue growth, key expenses, and market risks. Within moments, they have a summary that's short, clear, and focused, saving them hours of prep time. Next up is data analysis and visualization, a growing area where GPT can play an important supporting role. Now, GPT isn't a replacement for spreadsheet software or advanced data tools, but it excels at helping explain, interpret, and communicate insights from data. It's especially helpful when working with descriptive summaries. So if you give it a table or data set and ask what trends it sees, it can narrate that data back to you in plain language. For example, you might ask, "Based on this customer survey data, what are the top 3 customer concerns?" Paste in the dataset, and GPT can analyze the responses, recognize patterns, and suggest themes like pricing complaints, long shipping times, or poor user interfaces. There's a great case study from a marketing team who did just that. After running a customer feedback survey with over 2,000 entries, they used GPT to categorize the responses by theme. GPT spotted recurring phrases and pulled out the most mentioned issues. Then it generated a short executive summary that marketing and product teams could share with leadership. That saved at least a full day's work. GPT can also help describe visuals. While it's not a charting engine, you can prompt it to suggest graph types or explain what a graph shows. You could say, "Given this sales data by region, suggest the best chart to visualize performance variation," or "Write a caption describing the trend in this line graph." It helps make data not just visible, but also understandable to wider audiences. Now, let's pull all these ideas together by looking at real cases where professionals are using GPT right now. In marketing, GPT is being used to draft content ideas, write ad copy, improve product descriptions, and even help with search engine optimization. A content strategist might say, "Suggest 5 blog topic ideas based on user trends in our app," and GPT would generate timely, relevant ideas. They write a rough draft using GPT, then polish it before publishing. In operations, people use GPT to write job descriptions, create training materials, and even draft performance reviews. In HR, GPT can help summarize resumes or build onboarding checklists. In customer support, it's being used to draft responses to common inquiries, develop FAQ content, and guide tone-appropriate communication. In healthcare, practitioners are experimenting with using GPT to generate plain language explanations for clinical notes. While this is still a field where human oversight is critical, GPT shows promise for helping bridge the gap between medical records and patient understanding. Even in the legal world, GPT is being explored for summarizing deposition transcripts, suggesting outlines for contracts, or helping write client updates, though always with a professional reviewing every word. Anywhere that text interpretation and generation are useful, GPT can assist. By now, you might be thinking about how you could apply these techniques in your own job. Maybe you're in education and want to generate customized feedback for students. Or maybe you work in finance and want to automate routine reporting. Perhaps you're a freelancer juggling clients and want to streamline proposals. Whatever your role, GPT can likely help you with at least one text-based task each day. The key is knowing how to prompt it effectively. That means clearly stating your goals, giving enough context, and being specific about tone, audience, or format. For example, rather than prompting, "Summarize this report," try "Summarize this economic outlook report for a non-expert audience in under 300 words. Before we wrap up, here's one tip that applies to all these areas. Always review and refine. GPT is a powerful assistant, but it's not a replacement for your expertise. Use it to do the heavy lifting at the start, then check for accuracy, clarity, and appropriateness for your specific context. Think of it like a first draft generator, not an autopilot. Let's summarize the key takeaways from this lesson. First, GPT can be a major time saver in professional environments, especially for text-heavy tasks like writing, summarizing, and reporting. It helps you streamline communication, condense large volumes of information, and interpret data more clearly. Second, specific use cases like drafting business emails, scheduling meetings, and summarizing reports can benefit greatly when you prompt GPT with clear instructions about context, tone, and audience. Third, GPT can support early-stage data analysis by identifying trends, simplifying results, and helping you communicate insights in plain language. And finally, real-world use cases show that different industries, from marketing to healthcare to operations, are already leveraging GPT to increase efficiency, generate ideas, and support decision-making. The most effective users aren't replacing themselves. They're enhancing their work by offloading routine tasks and maximizing their time and creativity. See you in the next lesson.